I am Rwangyezi Stephen, the founder and executive director of Ndere Troop and Ndere Cultural Center. I'm really privileged, and I'm not saying this simply because I have to say it. I'm privileged to be associated with the Kampala Theatre Festival because it's a very progressive artistic organization. And for them to have survived the last 10 years is an achievement of no mean feat. Therefore, I want to congratulate you and wish you all the best. I started Ndere Troop in 1984 and subsequently built Ndere Cultural Center starting 1999, opening it in 2003 as a home of Ndere Troop, but largely as a host home for other creatives. The relationship with Kampala International Theatre Festival, just like the relationship with other creative artists, with Ndere Troop, with Ndere Cultural Center, stems from the fact that Ndere came in to create a space that African creative minds could have a home that they could continue expressing themselves artistically. Historically, we used to create in our compounds around the fire, but largely without an audience. The audience was part of the art. Around the fire, everybody was contributing to the creation, but also enjoying it as an audience. Until we got the Western theater with the cats that built the National Theatre, then we started getting the passive audience watching an active troupe or group of artists. And this was built with the proscenium arch stage on Western standards. The problem was that our type of art was not revolving along those lines of the proscenium arch stage, of the square blocks. So Ndere comes in to bring the indigenous arts to the stage now, not around the fireplace. But Ndere as an entity was not enough. So I was looking for who else was in the creative, was bringing their own approach to bringing Ugandan African art to modern times. Now, Deborah Asimwe was such an amazing young lady that committed her life to bringing theater into the African arena, but still practice it as a profession. So when she founded the Kampala Theatre Arts Festival, or whatever the correct nomenclature is, I was very interested in seeing this young lady that was not necessarily being employed to do that by a government or by a university, but was coming in as an initiative at that young age. I said, the trees here and all the environment we have created, the spirits are complaining that no one is coming up from outside Ndere to come and entertain the spirits in the trees. So they agreed to come over. And not only did they put a base as their office, but that was actually a consequence of having held some of the festivals here. So the whole link stems from how do we get more creatives come into this space that was specifically created to enable creativity. Unlike the other places that you'll go to, which may have been built as a bar, as a hotel, as a market, but because there is a space to perform, you have no choice but to go there and do some performance. This was built for creativity, and Deborah filled that yarn that I had in my head. At first, to be honest, I was very worried that it wouldn't survive long. You know, Uganda has this reputation of being the country that is most entrepreneurial will create so many things which don't see their first birthday. So I was really worried because I thought, and I still worry, that theater as an industry has been on the downward trajectory. We have not been funded as a policy. We have not had academic institutions deliberately producing the human resource. We have not had the industries and business communities putting budgets aside to promote the creative industry. So I was very worried that the festival would collapse. I admire the resilience of its founders and managers, that they have not only outlived the immunization period of children, but that they have really now made it part of the vocabulary in Kampala and worldwide. Because I was in New Mexico, in the United States of America, and they were talking about this festival. So I'm very glad that not only have we given the festival a base, but that they have used the base and grown. The second aspect that was worrying me was how the programs of Ndere Troop sometimes would clash with the programs of the festival. You probably have a solo artist on stage doing some really quiet and delicate things, and there it is blaring drums all over the place. And I have seen, at the first year that they did it, I saw Deborah really crushed when they were still in, and by then we had not built the caves, and we were there dancing, and she came and said, how do we continue? And I had to go to the other stage and say, please, let's tone it down. I looked for smaller, quieter pieces to enable the other one to go on. So the coexistence of the genres was a worry, and I still credit them that they have not only programmed in a way that we can coexist, but that they have not been forced to drop the softer, delicate aspects of the art for fear of being crushed by the drums. So I memorized times when I saw beautiful art that was delicate, and I saw it scared by the louder side of our dancing. But over time, the two have found a way to coexist. The next 10 years are but a foundation of the next 100, next 1,000 years for us as African creatives. And for some of us who will be there in a different form outside this body, shall be part of the trees and the wind, we may not be able to see much if we don't use the present opportunities and facilities to do professional training, to write down and publish what the next generations will use as reference points. I see myself having been running in Ndere for 40 years, and I worry if tomorrow I drive into a trailer, I'll pack with all the knowledge that I have without what other people can refer to. I see Deborah, I see Pablo all the time running to try and make ends meet for today. And I worry that we have not created a resource bank where the next generations will draw from. I'm praying that the relationship between Ndere and this festival do become a foundation for a university, an institute of indigenous civilizations and creative industries. That all the knowledge that the people in the festival have, that all the resources that we have put here and others that may be put later, that all the knowledge that we in Ndere have now get together and create a data bank, a resource bank in terms of publications, in terms of trained human resource, and in terms of a structured teaching program, that we create our own professors, that we create our own income resources that will enable us to think independently. And I'm saying that because I have seen over the years that everywhere you go to say, please give me some money to be able to run this, to be able to do this, they come back, they may give you some money, but tell you how to think, tell you how to operate, tell you how to deliver. So we need to create a teaching system that has both published materials and trained human resource, and we will need to create income sources that will enable us to keep thinking independently. If we only keep relying on funders, keep relying on donations, not all donors and funders are benign. We have the gift of influence, the gift of communication, the gift of mobilization. And many people who have their ulterior motives are looking for ways to communicate those in a way that controls society. We, as the creatives, need to remain a good mirror to be able to reflect, for society to see objectively. I am worried, don't have yet genuine funders that will say that money is for creativity, go use it whichever way. You have some people who will say, here is some money, but go say this way. And that will kill our independence, that will kill our role as objective commentators on society. So I'm looking forward to the relationship between this festival and Ndere and all other people who do things not for short-term gains, but who do things for the good of humanity over a long time. These 10 years should be a stepping stone, a firm stepping stone, where people will want to work with us on our terms. All societies that have developed have done so because there was an element of allowing people who create ideas, people who observe society and present it objectively, were allowed to think, were allowed to, the history of having a graduation gown in Greece was that if you reached that level, your gown had a bag at the back that wherever you passed, people would put in money, and all you needed to do was not to worry about working to get money, but thinking for the society. And everybody funded you by putting money in that bag on the gown, and you went and thought without being worried where you are going to sleep, what you are going to eat. Now we wear these gowns with these bags, but no one puts in anything. So we need, since we don't have that benign donation, we need to create our own financial basis from where we can spring with independent thoughts.